Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey.
Hello.
And the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 cents.
What up, though?
And off in the distance, the Lord of Pampers, Squeedus.
Yes, she's in the very distance now.
Oh, no, he put her away. Okay. And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment, whose phone is now beeping at him, because of course it is. And it's work. And are they going to call me away just as I start the show? No, they're not. Good. Okay, well, that out of the way. Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you've had a good Friday and a good week behind us. I hope you are all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. It was a Friday for me. I'll talk about that in a second. Satsu, how are you?
Pretty good. Squeedus was being Squeedus, so today was fun, as usual.
Monkey, how are you?
I'm okay, a little tired, but waking up. How you doing, man?
It's been a very, very busy day. Work. Plus, stuff I'll talk about at YouTube time, etc. I was very productive, but it was very, very, very busy. And news today tells me that I will be working Sunday night, which isn't making me happy. So I'll work Sunday night, go to bed, immediately get up and start working again. It's going to be a very short weekend, which I'm not jazzed about. But hey, every day's a weekend when you're locked down, right? That's what I tell myself. That's what it is. So, Faithless says, Scribelight always starts his intro before the broadcast starts. The clock tells me that we've begun. I count off a few seconds beforehand because I know that there's a cutoff. Like, StreamYards will tell me that we're live, but I know that there's a delay in some broadcasts. And so I give it a few seconds, but I can't tell how many seconds it is for the delay. So, it's a crapshoot. So if you're hearing these things and the first few minutes or seconds or whatever are cut off, it's no fault of mine. Don't know what to tell you. Anyway, all that being said, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and many of you haven't, because of course, why would you? You're still waiting to make sure that you're going to enjoy this stream, even if the first few seconds were cut off. And please share our stuff. Share it all far, wide, and sideways. Because, as we've said, YouTube doesn't really support content creators in broadcasting that they exist. So I guess the old YouTube motto is more true now than ever. Broadcast yourself. And ourselves are made up primarily of you guys, in that sense. Our viewers who let other people know that we exist because you love us, or we hope you do. Speaking of which, thank you, Tall Person. Happy National Give Someone a Cupcake Day, everybody. I can't give you one as I can't get to the moon yet. Will this donation suffice? Yes, thank you very much, Tall Person. I'm sure I can get a box of cupcakes somewhere if they're not already sold out. Are they still making cupcakes? I'm sure there's like rationing sugar at this point or something.
As far as I know.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else to mention before we get into the wonderful world of the schnuzz?
No.
Nah, bruh.
You guys aren't game streaming tonight?
We are, but we usually do that later.
Oh, well, pardon me for jumping the gun. So I pulled this one up because, if you'll recall, last night we read a story from CNN, who made it a point to dig up a quote from the latest press secretary, wherein she criticized something Donald Trump said back in 2015, as though that suddenly, I don't know, tainted her entire job or relationship or honesty or something. Well, she kind of responded to that today. And so I'm curious, because I haven't read this yet, I'm curious if she did what I recommended her doing in pointing out that simply disagreeing with something on a particular point does not then make that person intolerable. That's what's called bigotry, or something to that effect. But let's see. McEnany blames naively believing CNN headlines for past anti-Trump comments. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany on Friday blamed what she appeared to describe as misleading headlines from CNN for her past criticisms of the president. A recent report from CNN's K-File showed McEnany criticized then-candidate Trump for his assertion that Mexico was sending its worst nationals over the border and that some are, quote, rapists and, quote, killers.
Yeah.
Quote, to me, a racist statement is a racist statement. I don't like what Donald Trump, end quote, McEnany said in an exchange on, no. What he said, that's the important bit. I don't like what Donald Trump said.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you leave?
Because he didn't say that. So
Yeah. Is my volume down, or is Satsu just quiet?
Oh,
he sounds good to me.
I was recording a video earlier, so let me turn.
Oh, there we go. I was like, gosh, you sound muffled.
Yeah, I was recording a video earlier. My bad.
Okay. But yeah, this is very bizarre. The Hill has cut off the quote in mid-sentence. Okay, anyway, during a White House press briefing Friday, PBS White House correspondent, I don't know how to say this lady's name, Yamiche Alcindor, asked McEnany whether she still believed the comments Trump made in 2015 on the campaign trail were racist. Quote, in 2015, shortly after the president said that some Mexican immigrants were rapists and criminals, you said that language was racist and hateful. Do you still believe that today? Alcindor asked. McEnany said she was, quote, glad the reporter asked her that question. Yeah, because she was probably prepping for it. She said that for about the first 4 weeks of the election cycle, she was watching CNN and, quote, naively believing, unquote, some of the headlines that she saw.
Called it.
Oh, man. The press secretary said that after that period of time, she, quote, very quickly came around to support Trump. Quote, CNN hired me. In fact, I was on many 8-on-1 panels where I proudly supported the president, who I believe is one of the best presidents, if not the best president this country will ever have, she said. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. Following her response, McEnany quickly diverted the conversation to former special counsel Robert Mueller's probe. Quote, but I would encourage the individual who did that analysis on my past, rather than focusing on me, he really should be focused on some of the very guests CNN chose to have on their network, she said. Specifically, she said that CNN should be focused on former officials like James Clapper, director of national intelligence under former President Obama, who, quote, 10 days before he privately told investigators there was no evidence of collusion, he said that Watergate pales in comparison to the Russia probe, unquote. Ooh. She didn't do exactly what I thought she should, but
I mean, that was pretty close to what we predicted.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think she could have struck a little bit more home. If she was addressing the K-file person specifically, maybe that would have been different. Let's see. The press secretary also brought up former Obama administration official Samantha Power, who served as ambassador to the United Nations, and National Security Advisor Susan Rice, both of whom McEnany claimed could not provide any evidence or recall any instance of collusion by Trump with Russia. Is it a claim, or is that true? Are you not reporters? Not going to fact check that? Okay. On Thursday, the Department of Justice dropped their case against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn for charges of lying to the FBI about his contacts with Russia shortly before Trump took office. Some conservatives claimed that the FBI was out to entrap Flynn, who was removed from his post at the White House after misleading Vice President Pence about his Russia contacts. Democrats, on the other hand, have renewed their calls for Attorney General William Barr to step down from his post after the case was dropped. And thank you, Sanguine. I called it last night in a slab. Haha, hell yes, that was amazing. Well, if nothing else, she's a much more entertaining press secretary than the last couple we've had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's grown up underneath the Trump school of dealing with the media.
Yeah, I just appreciate that you called them out. Like, that's all I wanted to really hear is her be like, yeah, I was listening to you motherfuckers. Me. Sorry.
Let's see. What else is going on? Well, Tara Reid, who is now getting more press than can be imagined, honestly, since this has been out for a month and a half, but only recently picked up. Tara Reid says Joe Biden should drop out of the 2020 race. Not going to happen. You should not be running on character, unquote. Now, dropping out, not going to happen. That he shouldn't be running on character? They might have a point on that one. Well, how most politicians shouldn't try running on character. That argument will fall apart pretty quick most of the time. Tara Reid, a former Senate aide who has accused Joe Biden of sexually assaulting her in 1993, said in a new interview that the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee should withdraw from the 2020 race. Quote, "You and I were there, Joe Biden. Please step forward and be held accountable. And if you feel that you can address this in a real way, then you know, and I know, that you should step down," Reid said in her first on-camera interview since Biden personally denied her allegation last week. Quote, "You should not be running on character for the President of the United States," unquote. Reid made the remarks to former Fox News and NBC anchor Megyn Kelly in an interview that was released on Friday. CNN has spoken with Reid over the phone multiple times about her allegation. Yeah, well, it's interesting you only brought it up like a week and a half ago. Reid canceled an on-camera interview with CNN last weekend. I don't blame her. You guys ignored her for so long.
Oh my God, dude. I would be super happy if tomorrow was like CNN. Biden says it's no longer about character. It's about beating Trump.
That would be amazing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and then they just go over Biden denying it. Then we have the divorce document. Last year, Reid was among multiple women to accuse Biden of physical interactions that made them feel uncomfortable. Not to mention all the film evidence of such, too. None of them, including Reid, accused Biden of sexual assault at the time. Okay, well, now they have, and apparently she had years ago. When Reid made the assault allegation against Biden for the first time this year, you mean like the first time this year or the first time period? Because she's made this allegation a long time ago. We have evidence of it now.
Well, not exactly.
Well, of sexual assault, right? Oh, no, sorry, harassment.
We have the harassment a long time ago, not the assault, yes.
Let's see. She said she had not told the whole story last year, okay, because she feared for her and her daughter's safety. She has alleged that she filed a complaint with a personnel office on Capitol Hill in 1993 about alleged sexual harassment, but not the assault. No complaint has been found so far. The Secretary of the State, after consulting with legal counsel, has said it cannot confirm or deny the existence of a complaint or make one public. A divorce document from 1996 obtained by CNN shows that Reid's ex-husband, Ted Dronin, said under penalty of perjury that when he was dating Reid in Washington, D.C. in the spring of '93, she confided in him about, quote, a problem that she was having at work regarding sexual harassment in U.S. Senator Joe Biden's office, unquote. The San Luis Obispo Tribune first reported on the divorce document Thursday. Quote, it was obvious that this event had a very traumatic effect on Reid and that she is still sensitive and affected by it today, Dronin said in the document. The document is the first piece of written evidence that appears to confirm Reid told someone close to her about issues she was having in Biden's office at the time. It describes a problem of sexual harassment, not assault. It also does not specify who was allegedly harassing her. Reid has said she verbally complained to 3 supervisors at the time about the alleged sexual harassment. All 3 have told CNN and other media outlets that they never received such a verbal complaint from Reid and were furthermore never even aware of any sexual harassment complaints from anybody against Biden in the years that they worked with him.
Oh.
Okay, well, you guys better keep your fingers crossed that something doesn't turn up that says otherwise. Oh, boy.
They were all in unison on that, huh? Okay.
Well, I mean, it could be in unison because it's true. As far as they're concerned. I mean, it's not, I don't know. But the way these things go, I mean, saying a definitive, especially amongst politics and politicians, it can be a gamble unless you really, really know that person.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else do we have? Oh, let's talk some more about the shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. I'm still trying to, at least when I first read it, I was trying to piece out this headline. A suspect in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery was involved in a previous investigation of him, recused prosecutor says.
Okay.
So he was known to the shooter? Interesting. Thank you, Cryptic. Why do they call him Lord Vader? Because no one could keep a straight face calling him Mr. Vader. Oh, sorry, Master Vader. Oh, sorry, I misread that. My bad.
Mister. He's Master Vader.
Actually, it's just short for Invader. That's all. Just like Sidious is Insidious, etc. Lucas is very creative with his Darth names. One of the men accused in the fatal shooting of Ahmed Arbery was involved in a previous prosecution of Arbery, according to a letter written by a prosecutor who has since recused himself from the case. In an April 7th letter, April 7th, geez, Waycross Judicial Circuit District Attorney George Barnhill wrote that his son and the suspect, Gregory McMichael, helped with an earlier prosecution of Arbery when they both worked for the Brunswick Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office. Gregory McMichael, 64, and his 34-year-old son, Travis McMichael, were arrested Thursday evening and faced charges of murder and aggravated assault in Arbery's killing on February 23rd. Barnhill was the second prosecutor to oversee the case after the Brunswick DA recused herself due to her office's previous connection to McMichael. Barnhill said in the letter he believed it best to recuse his office from the case given the connections between his son, McMichael, and Arbery. Okay.
Is it me or is it sounding more like straight up murder?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but
the son of the suspect was involved in a previous prosecution of the guy who's now dead.
Right, because they both previously worked for law enforcement, right?
I thought it was just the dad. I didn't know it was the son too.
I thought it was just the dad. Yeah.
Well,
unless he's got a different son, I guess.
Maybe. Well, either way, his dad worked for law enforcement. His son had to know, or at least have heard about that situation. I'm sure his dad talked about it.
Wait. I misinterpreted what this is. Let me try that again. Okay. So the district attorney wrote that his son, and the suspect, Gregory McMichael, who is the father. Right. Okay, so it's still the father, still just the father who's the cop and involved in. Okay. So the district attorney's son was, in some capacity, law enforcement or judicial branch or something, worked with the dad to previously prosecute the guy the dad and his son have now killed.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying that to me, it's starting to feel more like this was straight up murder.
The Brunswick News has reported Arbery was indicted for allegedly bringing a gun to a 2013 high school basketball game when he was 19. Family attorney Lee Merritt has acknowledged Arbery's 2018 arrest on shoplifting charges, but any reference to, quote, alleged conduct from high school or shoplifting is absurd and has nothing to do with his murder, unquote, Merritt said. Well, it might not, his actions might not have anything to do with the murder, but the involvement of the guy who helped kill him as related to those incidents might have something to do with it.
Yeah, because before, by the knowledge that I had, what I was thinking is they had no idea who this person was. They just thought he was a suspicious person in the neighborhood. They thought he was up to something, so they chased him down. They knew him beforehand. They had already dealt with him due to the previous prosecutions. This was absolutely murder. Like they knew exactly who he was, and they killed him for that reason. That's the only logical conclusion I can come to if they knew him beforehand.
Well, there's just way too many coincidences here.
Yeah, like, come on.
Way too many.
They knew who he was.
Let's see. The case prompted outrage in recent days over the fact that the McMichaels, who are white, had not been arrested more than 2 months after Arbery, a black man, was killed while jogging through a neighborhood outside Brunswick, Georgia. That day, according to a police report, the McMichaels allegedly chased Arbery down in a pickup truck, believing he was a suspect in a string of burglaries. Have we even been told there actually was a string of burglaries, or was that just something that's been assumed?
Nobody has official or confirmed in an official capacity that there has been a string of burglaries, but we did read, I think in that last article, that there had been no word from anybody that was a thing that existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was we have no word of that actually being real. So
thank you, Cryptic. A skunk sat on a stump and thunk the stump stunk, but the stump thunk the skunk stunk. Okay. Thank you, Cryptic. Yeah, and then it kind of goes into a recitation of what we talked about last night and the description of the events, etc. But that is, yeah, okay. The whole thing was outrageous to begin with, but now that this guy wasn't a complete stranger to the guy that ended up trying to kill him, that's bizarre.
Yeah, that makes it immediately more damning to me.
I thought it was weird that they said he had seen him a couple nights before. He'd seen him the nights before, something like that.
Yeah.
Just a random black guy, but he knew for a fact that's the guy I saw.
Yeah,
At
100%. That was him.
I don't know. My opinion of the case hasn't changed.
Yeah, it doesn't prove anything. I mean, who knows how many cases this guy might have helped in prosecuting over the years. There's one guy, and of course it's in the same county, so maybe you're going to come across maybe the odds that somebody related to him in some fashion, given that he was both a cop and a prosecuting consultant and everything. So it doesn't determine anything. It's just one more really odd coincidence of circumstance regarding this guy and how this case has been, both how it started and how it's been dealt with so far.
Well,
thank you, Cryptic. Brave bleeding boys battle bald biting babies ride battle toys while bumbling boys brave bald biting babies. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was about 80% sure that this was murder last night. I am 90% sure now, so that's where I'm at.
All right. Let's see. Well, you remember Lori Loughlin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we haven't heard from her in a while, have we?
No, we haven't.
Well, Lori Loughlin and Massimo Giannulli, lose their bid to toss charges in college admissions case.
Oof.
Oh.
Lori Loughlin and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, were just dealt a setback in their legal case after a judge refused to dismiss charges against the couple, as well as other prominent parents accused of cheating the college admissions process, who had argued they were entrapped by federal authorities.
What? What?
Yeah.
It was the feds. They made us cheat for our kids, and they watched us do it. And oh my God! On Friday, U.S. District Judge Nathaniel Gorton rejected the defense's bid to toss the indictment over allegations of misconduct by FBI agents. In addition, the judge also denied their attempt to block prosecutors from presenting certain secretly recorded phone calls at trial. Quote, the court is satisfied the government's counsel has not lied to or attempted to mislead the court or fabricated evidence, Gorton wrote in his ruling. An attorney for the couple did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment. A lawyer for the pair declined to comment when reached by the Associated Press. Loughlin, 55, and Giannulli, 56, are scheduled to go on trial in October on charges that they paid $500,000 to get their daughters into the University of Southern California, and they could have paid like a fifth of that and made them work to earn it, but God forbid. As crew recruits, even though neither girl was ever a rower, they denied paying bribes and said they believed their payments were legitimate donations.
I did not.
Thank you, Cryptic. I give up. What are you, France? Okay. Earlier this week, it was reported that an anonymous source close to Loughlin and Giannulli had believed that the alleged misconduct on the part of the federal investigators would ultimately lead to the case being dropped. No, that anonymous source was dead wrong, weren't they?
Wrong as fuck.
Quote, Lori's lawyers feel they have a very strong chance of having the charges dismissed because prosecutors withheld key evidence that ringleader Rick Singer was pressured by the FBI to lie in the course of his conversations with Lori. The source explained, did they get him to call her up and record her? Oh, is that the secret recordings they're talking about?
I mean, okay. Well, that's a different scenario.
Well, I mean, if they got to him and he rolled on them, and they're like, "Hey, if you want a deal, you're gonna cooperate. So we're gonna listen on your phone call to her and see what she says." That's not an illegitimate way to
it's not.
No.
I understand why they would be making that argument, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense now.
Exactly. But it didn't make any sense at all. I'm like, what? But now I'm like, okay, I see.
The judge's decision came after he ordered prosecutors to explain iPhone notes written by Singer, the admitted mastermind behind the admissions cheating scandal, when he was secretly working with the government in October 2018. In court documents previously obtained by Fox News, attorneys for the famous couple argued that the entire... Yeah, we just talked about that. Let's see. So, yeah, this is all repeating what we already know. The trial for them is set to begin in October of this year. So there you go. But anyway, anything else going on in the world? Let's see. Okay. Okay, well, this is interesting. Colorado election official says he felt pressured by state GOP chair into submitting incorrect election results.
Huh?
That is a very confusing headline. A dispute over a Colorado State Senate candidate's effort to get on a primary ballot has led a local election official to allege that U.S. Representative Ken Buck, who also chairs the state's Republican Party, was pressuring him to submit incorrect election results and says he has the audio to prove it. Buck, however, has said he was merely asking the official to carry out the state Republican Party's position that technical issues at a March party assembly meeting had derailed a key vote, though a district court judge later said the candidate should not be on the ballot. The argument is over who will represent the Republican Party in the race to fill a term-limited seat in Colorado State Senate District 10. Two Republicans, State Representative Larry Liston and Republican activist David Stiver, are vying for it. Each needed to receive 30% of the vote from Republicans within the district at an assembly meeting in late March in order to make the primary ballot. Liston met the threshold while Stiver didn't. Stiver then complained to the state party, saying the election, held via an email voting system and conference call due to the coronavirus pandemic, was conducted unfairly because of what he said was insufficient notification of when the online voting would begin, improper use of the voting system, and elevating alternates to vote. Two GOP state committees, the Executive Committee and the Central Committee, weighed in on the matter and sided with Stiver in April. Buck, in his capacity as state GOP chairman, told Eli Bremer, the state election official who conducted the initial assembly nomination process, that Stiver should be included on the ballot. Bremer, however, argued that the election had been carried out properly and Stiver didn't receive the necessary votes, and adding him to the ballot would constitute election fraud. Buck, as chair of the party, pushed back. Quote, I am able to tell you that only Central Committee members voted, and the vote was 52% to 48% to adopt the Executive Committee report. Do you understand the order of the Executive Committee and the Central Committee that you will submit the paperwork to include Mr. Stiver and Mr. Liston on the ballot, with Mr. Liston receiving the top line vote? Buck asks in a April 17th conference call. Yes, sir, I understand. The Central Committee has adopted a vote that requires me to sign a false affidavit to the state, Bremer responded. To which Buck replied, and will you do so? Wow. Quote, I will seek legal counsel because I'm being asked to sign an affidavit that states Mr. Stiver received 30% of the vote. I need to seek legal counsel to find out if I am putting myself in jeopardy of a misdemeanor for doing that. I will consult with counsel, Bremer said. Buck again asked, and you understand that the Central Committee has ordered you to do so? Yes, sir. I understand the Central Committee has ordered me to sign an affidavit that states a candidate got 30% who did not, and I will seek legal counsel to determine if I'm able to legally follow that, Bremer reiterated. Buck ended the back and forth with, all right, Mr. Bremer, I understand your position, unquote. That is bizarre. No, I understand. You want me to sign something that's false. Yeah, and you're going to do that, right? No. You know you've been ordered to do that, right? Yeah, I know I've been ordered to. I ain't going to do it. Okay. What?
That is bizarre.
That's nuts. I mean, now, I applaud Mr. Bremer for being very clear on something that he knew could be recorded.
Oh, absolutely.
Not leaving anything to assumption. Right, Satsu?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not leaving anything to assumption. But yeah, that's, I don't know how Mr. Buck gets out of that one because the guy was not, now he said it twice then, or actually 3 times. He's like, do you want me to sign something that is not true, that constitutes fraud? You understand we told you to do that.
I understand. I need to see my lawyer.
Yeah, so good on Mr. Bremer, regardless. But that Ken Buck might be in some trouble there. Because that's a bit more than just an allegation. If that's on tape. But anything else, guys, or shall I move on?
No, I don't have any.
All right. Well, guys, it's time for MSS News. So if you have news stories you would like us to read on the air, or ridiculous blog posts from Medium, I'm looking at you, Frosted, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSS News. Can't promise we'll get to them all because Frosted Glass. Thank you, Cryptic. How many bones are in your hand? About a handful.
Uh,
I see what you did.
Wah, wah, wah. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Frosted Glass sends us this one because, of course. As I wait for it to load. Dear hashtag me too. Don't let the system grab you by the pussy.
Oh.
Okay. Violent inequality fosters sexual assault. Violent inequality fosters sexual assault. That's the subheading. I feel like I'm reading the script to the video I just did today. Systemic inequality fosters all crime, including sexual assault. As crimes go, sexual assault is no different than others. It just seems so because it is less a crime of desperation committed by have-nots and more a crime of power committed by haves. Sexual assault's no different than murder? Okay. The haves, usually men, usually privileged, usually white, impose, assert, insert themselves upon and inside the bodies and minds of whoever they can. Yeah, men are a virus, guys. We're a mascuvirus. Yes, squeeze. Quote, these men have what their victims, who are in a less powerful position, want and need. A job, good grades, a promotion, a recommendation, an audition, a role in a movie, a place close to the center of power. They confuse and control by dangling enticements with one hand and wielding threats, implied or explicit, with the other.
Wait, they were missing something.
What?
That was a whole list, and they didn't say a vagina.
I said it.
Oh.
But they didn't.
I know.
Quote, when you're a star, unquote, the most powerful among them brags, quote, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything, unquote.
Hey, gorgeous. Excuse me 1 second, guys.
Who's that?
Can you say hi?
Hi.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, oh, I missed you so much.
Grand monkey.
I love you.
Aw.
Come upstairs.
I can't.
Come upstairs. No, Grand monkey. No, it's his kryptonite.
Can you come?
I'll play with you tomorrow. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
kiss. I love you so much.
Aw.
You going upstairs? Okay, I love you.
I love you
Be a
too.
good girl. Now, I'll play with you all day tomorrow.
Aw.
Hey, Mommy.
I'll do it, though.
Aw.
It's my girl.
Grand monkey.
I said, give me a kiss, and she gave me her cheek to kiss.
No. Thank you, Cryptic. Monkey likes to send people to the corner. This is for him. Do you feel cold? Go to the corner. There's 90 degrees. Oh, nice. Yeah, so anyway, this blog post goes on for a long time where everybody's a victim and men are terrible. And yeah. And her this is written by Rebecca Young, and her little bio line here just says, I am a lawyer. I like to think about how people think. Sounds more like you like to think and project how people think. But that might be me. Links in the chat, guys, if you want to take a look at it for yourself. But I'm going to move on. This one comes from senior staff reporter and chief Florida correspondent Colleen Bernier. Woman arrested after calling cops to report fire in her crotch.
What?
Okay, now here's the question. Is it literally a fire? Is it a hallucinated fire, or is it an infection? What do you think?
I'm guessing she's horny.
Okay, Monkey thinks it's a euphemism, Satsu.
I think she was crazy and she meant literally.
Okay. Thank you, Sanguine. The harbinger of cute has arrived. Also, people, it annoys me that just like Louis, they are pissed. Louis? Trump gets permission, which seems confused from them.
Oh, yeah. Well, when Trump explicitly said they allow me to do this thing, they're like, oh, that's assault. You
Right.
know, consent is assault. Trump's a rapist. He does things with permission. from women.
An Ohio woman, this isn't from Florida, was placed under arrest after reportedly calling 911 to ask for help extinguishing a fire in her crotch. Okay. Katrina Morgan, 50, called the cops in Port Clinton at about 10 p.m. Saturday to allegedly falsely report her, quote, pussy ablaze, unquote. Morgan asked the cops if the fire department's, quote, hose is working, unquote, and said, quote, I need somebody to come put it out with their hose, unquote. Oh, boy. Police arrived to find Morgan at her friend's home where she and others had been drinking. Oh, you don't say. Cops moved to arrest Morgan for false reports and disrupting police operations. According to the newspaper, Morgan became agitated and yelled at the officers as she resisted arrest, only relenting when an officer threatened her with a stun gun. Morgan faces charges of disrupting public services, making false alarms, resisting arrest, and disorderly conduct. So I assume then that they did not find that her pants were charred.
I mean, define charred.
Yeah, well, yeah.
She was definitely hot. She was trying to get something. But,
yeah, well, given her picture, I'm guessing the firefighters did not comply even in her wildest dreams.
You weren't as drunk as she was.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Who's next on the hit parade? Okay, this one comes from Chicago Mike. I thought that this had already happened. Is this an old article? No? Okay. J.C. Penney to reportedly file for bankruptcy. I thought that already happened. Maybe I'm thinking of a different department store. J.C. Penney is reportedly getting ready to file for bankruptcy protection as soon as next week, according to CNBC, citing people familiar with the matter. The retailer is the latest casualty of the pandemic. I think J.C. Penney was probably on its way to being a casualty before the pandemic.
yeah.
That was my understanding. I thought I remember reading somewhere that they closed like a whole ton of stores a couple of years ago. According to Business Insider, a nearly $4 billion debt load and competition online even before the pandemic. The retailer has struggled to stay afloat. Yeah, JCPenney's problems did not start in the last 3 months. They're not a casualty of the pandemic. Maybe it hastened a decision quicker than otherwise, but it was already on its way.
Yeah, but we still have to count it because they had corona when they died.
It's coronavirus related, guys. It happened while there was a pandemic going on, so obviously it's related to the pandemic.
Penny had corona while they died, so it's a corona death.
This death by association thing is really starting to get on my nerves. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. This one comes from Fairly Becca. Murder hornet hunters. How one beekeeping couple tracked and terminated a nest in British Columbia.
Good job.
Wow. You've been terminated. Murder hornets. Murder hornets. The Asian giant hornet has quite the moniker, given for its sting and appetite for the offspring of honeybees and the threat it poses to honeybee populations.
That's racist.
Well, that's just the way it is. News recently emerged that these hornets were in North America, but 8 months ago, after hearing about sightings, BC beekeepers John and Mufida, M-O-U-F-I-D-A, Mufida Holubeshen, Holubeshen, Holubeshen. First tracked, got stung, and then went home, got suited up with better defense, and brought reinforcements to terminate and extract a nest of over 100 Asian giant hornets and 600 larvae.
Wow.
Oh, they did business. They wasn't fucking around.
This is not the script outline for a bee movie. This happened, and the star's Alex McKean, the star being the paper that I'm reading from, by the way, the star's Alex McKean, reporter, sat down with John and Mufida, who told their story of a showdown at Robbins Park at the end of Honey Drive. Really, that's the road where they found the nest. Honey Drive. All right. And then it cuts to a audio file, which I can't play. So well, good on them, I guess, for eliminating an entire colony.
What a cowankadank. That is that's actually pretty fucking badass. Motherfucker, you gonna sting me? Okay.
A helpful genocide.
I'm coming to your house.
It's still, I mean, it took 2 people and an army to do what, I mean, set some what are those locust looking things? The praying mantis. Set those on them.
Oh yeah, that praying mantis. Fuck that be up.
Let's see. This one comes from Shrouded Angel. If I'm reading this headline correctly, there's a word in here I think is probably not true. Quote, I gate crashed my ex's wedding and accidentally dropped a pregnancy bombshell, unquote.
Accidentally.
Huh?
Yeah, that is the operative word there. I'm already doubting with an X. A woman has come clean about how she gate crashed her ex-boyfriend's wedding and accidentally revealed to the bride that the baby she was carrying was her now husband's.
Yeah, oops.
Yeah, oops, whoops, I slipped on a banana peel and let that one fall out. I mean, not that it wasn't going to come up at some point anyway, but the timing is, I'm sure, a total accident. The anonymous woman explained that her and her ex had dated for 3 years before they broke up, and he later got into a relationship with his now current partner, who he was marrying. Yeah, I kind of gathered. Of the wedding, she said, quote, like you could guess, I wasn't personally invited, nor was I told anything about it from him, even though we spoke daily. He's not obligated to invite you. I mean, take that as you will. But well, I found out about it from his grandmother. We're close. And she suggested I gate crash and that she would come over for me, or she would cover for me.
What?
Thanks, Grandma.
Oh, Grandma, you ain't coming to no more barbecues. What the fuck?
Okay. And since she hadn't completely found closure after the relationship ended, you don't say. Right. The ex-girlfriend agreed. When the day arrived, his grandmother sneaked her in so she could watch the ceremony. She said, it was beautiful. I shed a few tears, but it really solidified things. Solidified your decision to destroy the wedding?
It was so beautiful, I just had to destroy it.
Yeah. Once it finished, she was getting ready to leave, but his grandmother pushed her to go to the reception as well and sit next to her at the family table.
Oh, Grandma ain't shit, dude.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much Grandma encouraged this, or if she used Grandma.
I don't know, man. Look, Grandmas be the one to give you a taste of the medicine that they feel you need. They be like, yeah, this motherfucker gonna learn today. I know you've been fucking her.
Well, I mean, it could be, but it just seems to me that so far, every turn in this story is not her doing.
Yeah.
A bit suspicious to me.
Yeah, there's that too. She accidentally dropped the news.
So, Grandma invited me. Grandma sneaked me in. Grandma said I should go to reception.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Did she imply Grandma was the one who hadn't got over the relationship?
No. Let's see. Found closure. No. They were talking about the ex-girlfriend.
All right.
No, it's and since she hadn't completely found closure after the relationship ended, the ex-girlfriend agreed to Grandma's suggestion. That's what they were saying.
All right.
She added, quote, I was still mingling with the family, standing up when the bride and groom came. They came and greeted, and she congratulated me on the pregnancy. I thanked her and said something about how I couldn't wait to co-parent with the two of them.
Yeah, that was an accident. Yeah,
turns out she didn't know I was pregnant 5 months at the time with his child the whole time. She lost her shit and ran out. No. He tried to run after her, but then her dad came and started a scene. Lucky for me, my ex's brother came and helped me get out of there as soon as possible. After all of the drama of the big day, she revealed that her ex still checks in on her for updates on the pregnancy. So the newly wedded husband still checks up on her because it's his kid. And was later told by his grandmother that the couple broke up and got an annulment.
Good job, lady.
Well, first off, if that guy, there's a couple things I don't know here. Did he know that she was pregnant with the kid? They never say that. They say they were in contact all the time, but they never say explicitly that he was aware that she was pregnant.
Right.
Secondly, if he did know and he didn't tell his fiancée before this, well, he's a dog no matter what, and she would have found out eventually. So no harps or halos on his head. But if the ex kept this secret until that moment, well, fuck her.
Yeah.
I'm more curious about the timing.
Yeah.
Baby's only in there 9 months. How long had this wedding been planned?
Well, okay, so she was pregnant for 5 months at that point, she says.
Okay.
They had dated for 3 years before they broke up, and he later got into a relationship with his now current partner. So it couldn't have been. There are some whirlwind romances out there. Don't get me wrong, but 5 months between breaking up and then getting married to someone else seems awfully quick. But stranger things have happened.
Huh.
Anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna suggest at all that dude was any way in the right, but I'm just like, grandma ain't shit though.
Yeah, if that part's true, then yeah, grandma's she wanted to fuck shit up.
she succeeded.
Yeah, I wonder if she's the grandma that thought like her grandson's mom wasn't good enough for her son or something, and she wanted to screw things up or something. Let's see. This one comes from Top Ramen Lewis. What? What's up?
A peanut is here.
Oh, Peanut!
Hello, Vivi. Come here. Come see.
Oh, the babies.
Oh,
You guys can talk.
No, we got to listen to Baby.
Hi, Vivi.
You know she ain't gonna talk.
Hello.
I don't care. Just knowing that she's there is comforting enough.
Hello. Hello.
Peanut never speaks to us.
Oh, she's gonna cry.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Come
gonna
here.
cry. Oh, I'm sorry, baby.
Hmm.
She's like, you're not my mommy, and I just woke up.
Oh,
Hi. It's okay.
poor
She ain't got
Peanut.
no time for me.
No.
I'll see her tomorrow morning. She's happy.
She like, it's too late for this, Grandpa.
You don't wake these girls up, man. I'm telling you.
Let's see. Alyssa Doesn't Lie says her birthday is tomorrow.
Oh,
Well, Alyssa,
Do you want the birthday song today or tomorrow? Because you might have plans tomorrow. Maybe you're not going to be around for the show. Which would you prefer? Let us know. If it was a Saturday, then we'd sing because we don't do this on Sunday. But it's your choice. We are I'm the jukebox tomorrow, but I'm going to try to be around. Okay.
correction. Autistic jukebox.
Shush.
Okay.
Let's see. Silent hypoxia. COVID-19 patients who should be gasping for air, but aren't. Okay, well, that's good, right?
Doesn't sound like happy about that.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how this is a bad thing. In hospitals around the world, doctors are shaking their heads in disbelief as they watch COVID-19 patients who should be comatose or seizing from hypoxia, a lack of oxygen in the body's tissues, check social media, chat with nurses, and barely complain of discomfort while breathing. That's a good thing. Some have dubbed them happy hypoxics, a terrible misnomer for what could be a long, slow recovery or worse. Wait, what do you mean should be hypoxic? Either they are or they aren't. I don't get it.
Well, they're hypoxic, but they're not displaying the normal signs.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to parse this out. The proper medical term is silent hypoxia. It happens when people are unaware they are being deprived of oxygen and are therefore showing up to the hospital in much worse health than they realize. Okay. Typically, these patients have experienced some COVID-19 symptoms for 2 to 7 days before they show up at the hospital complaining of sudden chest tightness or an inability to breathe deeply. Said Dr. Richard Leviton, who's been an emergency room physician for some 30 years. While he practices at Littleton Regional Healthcare in New Hampshire, Leviton recently spent almost 2 weeks volunteering in the emergency room of a New York City hospital near the epicenter of the city's devastating outbreak. There, he watched patients come into the emergency room with blood oxygen levels as low as 50%, so low, they should have been incoherent, even unconscious. Normal blood oxygen saturation is between 95% and 100%, and anything below 90% is considered abnormal. In addition, Levitin said, scans of these patients' lungs showed signs of pneumonia so severe that they should be in terrible pain as they gasped for their next breath. Quote, their x-rays looked awful, their oxygen was terrible, and yet they're completely awake, alert on a cell phone, and they all said they've been somewhat sick for days. And then only recently did they notice either shortness of breath or fatigue or something else. That's what is so fascinating about this disease and also so terrible. It's terrible because by the time the person realizes they're having trouble taking a deep breath and reaches out for help, they are already dangerously sick.
That might actually be linked to why the death toll is so, or can be so high. A lot of people don't even realize.
Quote, some may ultimately require a ventilator. As levels of carbon dioxide rise, fluid builds up in their air sacs and the lungs become stiff, leading to acute respiratory failure. Doctors speculate that, for some people, COVID-19 lung problems progress in a way that isn't immediately apparent. Yeah, thanks. I think we got that part. As patients focus on battling such symptoms as fever and diarrhea. Wait, diarrhea? Is that now a symptom of COVID-19?
I guess it is.
Oh.
I wasn't aware of that one. The body begins fighting back against the lack of oxygen by speeding up breathing to compensate. Quote, just imagine that you had a full glass of air and now that cup becomes half full, said critical care pulmonologist Dr. Cedric Rutland. What are you naturally going to do? You're going to try to fill it twice as fast because you lost half. Okay. People may not be aware of the more rapid breathing rate and don't seek help, yet blood oxygen levels continue to fall. In the meantime, the body slowly becomes somewhat adjusted to the lower levels of oxygen, much like what happens when a person travels to a higher altitude. By the time these patients get to the hospital with crippled lungs and crashing oxygen levels, quote, this has been taking place for a long time, Rutland said, so your body is kind of used to it.
Wow.
Yeah, okay. Well then, one more reason to be totally paranoid about feeling fine.
Right.
Oh boy. All right. Well, there you go.
I've been there. I went to the. I was having an asthma attack and I knew it, but I went to the doctor one time. The doctor's like, "You shouldn't even be able to stand with the limited oxygen you had."
Mm-hmm.
But that part of me felt fine. It was just unable to take that breath, and when it hits, yeah, it's like, "Oh shit! Can you do something for me?"
Yeah. And we'll end just with the headline from a Babylon Bee article as sent to us by China Plague. Huge setback for female dictators as Kim Jong-un fails to die. Yes, the patriarchy again prevents a woman from rising to the top. But guys, thank you so much for all the stories. Sorry I didn't get to them all, but you know, them's the breaks. Let's see, can I take a deep breath? I think so, but maybe I'm silently hypoxic. I guess we'll find out in a day or two. Anyway, on to the wonderful world of YouTube time. What did I do today? Well, I posted a new video, a scripted video, of a college senior telling us about her final senior project, which were 4 zines. You guys remember zines?
No.
Monkey, you remember zines?
Aren't those like online magazines?
Well, they could be, sort of, except that classically speaking, they were cheaply published and photocopied little flyers / magazines that were done by people in the 90s of like underground, sort of niche music sort of genres and things like that. If you look up zine, Z-I-N-E, on and just look up like 90s, you'll just see these photocopied, sort of like folded over little booklets of self-published, you know, sort of journals or newspapers or whatever. And they were called zines because they weren't quite magazines. They were just zines. I remember them. They were like around the alternative music scene at the time. They were quite common, amongst other things. But anyway, yeah. So, but her zines are digital. They're just flat graphics of text and pictures, but I guess they're zines. I don't know. Anyway, as I mentioned last night, she apparently majored in or is going into the industry of adventure education, which involves taking students out into the wilderness to learn life skills. And she believes that to enhance those life skills, one must introduce social justice. And the zines tell us, at least in part, how she intends or what the point is of that in adventure education. Except that she really doesn't. She just takes a bunch of really boilerplate, high-end social justice propaganda and puts the text on like mountain things and backpacks and such. But yeah, so I was interested because I thought, okay, this is someone who is at the end of their, or conceivably the end of their education, and their senior project is on bringing social justice to education. So that's why I made it a curriculum of fear. So I was curious as I was watching it, is she going to tell us about her history with social justice? Because I wanted to know, was this something that happened before she got to college? Was she indoctrinated when she got to college, or was this something that's been going on a long time? She said it had been going on since she was 13. And I was like, oh. And then when she got to college, she was shown how social justice can be looked at through the lens of critical theory. And I was like, oh, so you had all of your preconceived notions further justified by pseudo social science. And now it's great, yay. But yeah, there's actually about 3 or 4 minutes more of the original video that I didn't include because it seemed like it was going to be repetitive. So I might end up using that last bit as a brief supplementary live stream at some point, just for fun. But and other than that, I'll be doing a TEDx tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's on diversity or building diversity, and I'm curious to find out how this person advises people to artificially create diversity. Can't wait.
Shoe polish.
Now, monkey.
What I said.
Don't ruin it for everyone. But that's all the YouTube I have. Oh, hi, Weebo. It's Weebo. Weebo needs attention. Weebo. But anyway. What?
You gave her attention the other day.
Well, I know, but I'm just sort of heading it off at the pass. I'm doing a preemptive attention giving. Weebo. Satsu, what have you been up to?
I uploaded a video today. And that's it. No, it was a cooking video over on my cooking channel. I made orange chicken, and oh man, that's like one of the best things I've made in recent memory. I was just like thrown back by how fucking delicious it is, because I've never had the real deal before. I've gone to all types of fast food places and all these other spots to try it, and you know, it was fine. It was orange chicken, or at least what I thought it was supposed to be, and I was wrong, man. So very wrong. You guys should go check it out because it's just amazing. It was so good. I can't wait to make it again.
All right. Monkey, what have you been up to?
Just usual, some monkey in the morning, silliness this morning, and then no sleep, so I played video games all day.
And tomorrow is going to be Grand Baby Central.
It is. The kids are coming up for, well, they're up here now for Mother's Day, and my son's coming over, and we're having a cookout and everything. Yeah, it'll be lots of fun.
Yeah, reminder, everyone, if you didn't already know, at least in America, Sunday is Mother's Day. So if you haven't already put something together for Mom, you might want to think about it because time is running out. Or at least give her a phone call, because obviously with the lockdowns, it might be difficult to get something delivered at this point, but you never know. Let's see, on to the wonderful world of Fukatry. Let's see, do I have anything exciting? I don't know. Did I do much today? Well, I mean, I did cook up today's theme. Fantastic Four. And people are asking, like, who's the Invisible Girl? Well, that's Squishy. Because when I made Satsu Mr. Fantastic, well, I had to make the Invisible Woman Squishy because, you know, Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Girl are married, or depending on the era, boyfriend, girlfriend. So I couldn't make it like Weebo or a Lady Monkey or something.
Does that mean Squishy's your sister?
What?
That's
My sister. Yes. Because if I'm the Human Torch, that makes her my sister. Although I could be an adopted child.
Stop it.
Because of the more recent Fantastic Four movie, which did that. Sort of. Anyway, let's see. So apparently there is a Joe Biden coloring book coming out.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, yeah, it's going to be. I said, are the pages imbued with fragrances so you can be, quote, sniffing like Joe? Yeah, it's a scratch and sniff. Don't know. Let's see what else. Oh, a bipartisan group of lawmakers is demanding answers from the Treasury Department and the IRS about how many deceased people received coronavirus relief checks and what the solution is.
Oh, boy.
I think part of it solves itself, if you think about it for a second. But I said, well, if they end up with a list of erroneous check recipients, I guess they track down any that were cashed by living people and then prosecute those living people on federal fraud charges. It kind of sorts itself out, because if the dead are getting checks, they're not really going to be able to cash them unless somebody commits check fraud. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, by all means, stop sending out checks to people that aren't going to use them or can't use them, but all the same. Let's see. And Weebo's apparently not checking her DMs again. You know, for a modern young woman, she doesn't really know the technology that well, does she? And other than that, yep, that's all the quote unquote. I mean, I don't know why I only go to Twitter for my fucketry, but I guess that's sort of the grand central station for anything that I deal with in the day. And that's kind of it. So, Satsu, what do you got?
Well, there's only really one major fucketry thing that I really want to talk about, but that's going to be our deep topic for this.
Yeah.
So, let me see here. There was the Trump depression thing trending today, which is, from what I've seen, basically a whole bunch of people literally celebrating the possibility of us going into a depression and hoping that it happens, so that way they can be like, haha, Trump, how you like that? We're all fucked. And I'm just like, you know, there are better ways to oppose a president than to wish for the entire economy to collapse. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. So that absolutely stupid thing was taking place today, and I thought that was hilarious. What else? Let's see. There was a lady prostrating herself to blacks today on Twitter, which is, I know, super shocking. I know they probably blew somebody's mind with that one, but
you know who she is?
Huh?
So did you know who she is?
I have no idea who this lady is.
That lady, she used to be a leftist YouTuber. She didn't do it for very long. And she hung out with the Chrissy Winters group, and they forced her out because she was nice to Bering.
No, what was her name again?
I forget the name she used to go by.
Because that sounds really familiar. If I heard the name, maybe I'd know for sure.
Yeah, but she's changed her name since then, and now, yeah, she's on that post. Oh my god.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those real performative. I'm not a good enough white person, and not being racist. Not being racist is not enough, you know. I need to do more, and I'm going to dedicate myself to making sure that I do more for you poor people and all the stuff that you deal with. I'm so sorry. And I was just like, yeah, this is performative, and it doesn't sound very genuine to me. Let me see if I can go find the specific trade-off because she's pretty good at it though. I'll say she's got all the notes down and stuff. Let's see here. So she said, after she said what she said initially, she said, to my POC friends, I have a confession. Until now, I thought because I wasn't racist and I called out racist when I heard about it, I was doing enough. I really felt like I was part of the solution. I'm forced now to realize that I was not an ally, but not an accomplice. Or I was an ally, but not an accomplice. And I'm just like, okay. And then I said, is this the part where I dropped my PayPal link?
You should have.
Yeah.
And she said, to absolutely no one's shock or surprise, you jest, but if I could afford it, I would be donating to Black communities. My family is from Texas and LA, so there are likely slave owners in my family line. And centuries of slavery and oppression have given white people a head start and left Black people behind. That needs correcting. I'm just like, where the fuck did you copy and paste this shit from? Like, good Lord, this sounds like textbook. Like you've been studying, rehearsing. So there was that bullshit. And I said, you seem like a very nice lady whose heart is in the right place, but the prostrating comes off as performative. This is just my opinion, but you need to be good and a genuine person. And that's pretty much all you need to do do your part in my book. Treat me how you want to be treated and we're good. And she says, I'm sorry you see me that way, but I completely understand why you do. Ultimately, though, it doesn't matter what you think of me because it's not about me. It's no longer, I no longer believe just not being racist is good enough. There's trash in my front yard and I want to clean it up.
Wait. So it's not about her. The next part of that should have been, it's about you if she meant what she said.
No. It doesn't matter what I think. It's about...
You're Black.
It doesn't matter what I think, monkey. She's got trash in her front yard. She needs her...
Oh, no. Breaking news.
Huh?
Roy of Siegfried and Roy has died from the coronavirus at 75.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Was he the one that was attacked by the tiger?
I don't know.
I remember one of them got completely mauled by one of their tigers, and they basically had to retire at that point. But oh man, Roy of Siegfried and Roy, 75. Now died from coronavirus. I'm like, well, did he?
Right.
But I hate having to ask that question, but they make me do it anyway. So yeah, just breaking news, guys. I broke into Satsu's thing, and now I'm breaking out again. Bye.
So after that, I said, well, more power to you. But in my experience, people who are this adamant to grovel have something they feel guilty about. So I make sure I avoid them regardless. But I said, I hope it all works out for you, though. And she liked it. And I was like, oh, a nice lady.
Yeah, my dealings with her, because I've talked to her a couple of times in DMs and stuff. She was always very nice and stuff. Well, I read that today. I don't want to say who sent it because I don't like to share personal DM information, but a Black person sent that tweet to me, and I was like, "Isn't that great? You guys got another white woman out there looking out for y'all. It's just what y'all need. White women, do you guys really think that's what Black folks are sitting at home waiting for? Is your savior ass coming to tell them what they already know? Look, Satsu, there's still racism out there."
Well, I was just like, you're willing to do any and everything to make sure that it comes together. Is this the part where I dropped my PayPal? She's like, oh no, not
No, silly.
Gee, I don't have the money for that, but I am sorry though that like, shut up, bitch. Go sit down somewhere. It didn't get a whole lot of attention though. Like it wasn't like viral. It seemed like something she really wanted to be. But it just didn't go anywhere. So I kind of felt bad. So I'm like, I'll give her a little bit of attention. And Pat was talking about it. I think he sent it directly to me. And I was like, all right, well, I will grace her with a response. But no, it's done. So yeah, that was the major thing. And the other thing, like I said, we'll be talking about momentarily. So
I didn't reply to her because there was nothing nice I could say. And like I said, she is nice. And I think she's genuinely trying to do the right thing there.
that's what I said. I'm like, you don't seem like a bad person, but like, ugh.
But for fuck's sake.
Ugh.
I didn't mean to step on your one there, but that one pissed me off.
I was done. So
Thank you, Cody Fry. I'm doing my part to repay the black community for what I owe them. Scribe, you've earned this money. Okay. Thank you, Cody.
don't worry, Scribe. You got my PayPal. Just you know what to do.
Oh yeah, you know I have your PayPal. Was that all you had?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh,
okay.
Monkey, what do you got?
Well, I had the one that Satsu had, and then the only other one I had is that I woke up this morning and almost everything on my timeline was liberals talking about how Trump has caused the economy to collapse. You're the people who won't let us open shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Trump has been talking since the beginning about, hey, we need to be careful with this. We're going to collapse the economy. And y'all are, how dare you be so callous with people's lives? And now suddenly they're like, yay, Trump caused. No. Knock it off. The names line up perfectly. The ones who are like, no, we can't open everything. And it's Trump's fault that the economy is crashing. And there was even a post, a story in the Washington Post about how all the other countries have done it right and they're getting ready to reopen responsibly, but not us because of Trump. Just like, fuck all you lying pieces of shit. But yeah, that's all I really had today. Wait, what's that? Oh, no. There was one more. CNN today. I tweeted out yesterday because I saw AOC. She was actually tweeting out about how she was playing Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I made a joke about it, and I said, "No, just kidding. I hope she's having fun with it. I don't care if she plays Animal Crossing. Good for her." CNN actually wrote a news article about it.
Oh, Jesus.
They wrote a news article about AOC playing Animal Crossing. Like, that's not fucking news. That's anyhow, that's all I had.
All right. Well, then, I know that Satsu's chomping at the bit, so deep topic time. Satsu, why don't you set this one up for us?
Let's do this. So, just like we do any other time, this person I don't have a problem with. This isn't some type of issue that I'm bringing up with this person because I have a problem with them. This is just the conversation that sparked this topic that we wanted to talk about. So if that person is here, I'm not picking on you. So FYI. So we were talking about the Trump depression and hashtag. And I said, watching the left salivate to the very thought of the economy crashing and ruining the lives of the many people they claim to care about is so normal to me that I can't even get mad. They want this so bad and they're not even hiding it. And some dumb fuck named Mark said, oh, look, a Trumper is sharing another one of their opinions. And it's a picture of a dog taking a shit. I laughed because I thought it was funny. But then I responded, a Trumper who didn't vote for Trump and does not support Trump. That is a pretty interesting concept. Thank you for providing or proving how predictable you drones are. And we had a couple back and forths there. And the one dude said that no vote is a vote for Trump. And I said, by that idiotic logic, it's also a vote for whoever he's running against. Either side can make this dumb argument, but the left seems to love it a lot. And he responded, I find it a flaw in American system, a two-party system. And then I told him, I agree for the most part, but you have to remember that just because somebody votes for someone doesn't mean they support them 100% or they dislike the other person 100%. And the response I got to that was specifically, word for word, to be honest, I think that everyone understands that. Right? That was his response, Monkey. And I said, most rational people, sure. But unfortunately, some people truly believe if you vote for someone, you stand by everything they have ever said and done. And he responded, well, I didn't mean every single human on the face of the globe, but go on. Of course, and those people, I don't have any hope for change, but maybe they will. And then I responded, I mean, you did say everyone. That has a very specific meaning. I could have assumed that you didn't mean everyone, or you could have just specified better. And he said, I'll specify next time. For me, I've heard the same phrasing you said to me in a conversation, and I understood it. But for you, and just to be safe, in general, I'll specify. Now, I took issue with this simply because of the fact that I didn't assume anything. I read the statement for what it was. And I responded to him, I mean, maybe it was safe for me to assume that you didn't mean everyone, but I'm not feeling that charitable today. And I said, plus, it's good practice to say what you mean to avoid assumptions anyway. So he said, how about this? If you want to ask me to clarify something that I said, please do. I think it's a safer option than to assume what I meant, because that assumption could be wrong. And I'm just like, bro, I didn't assume anything. And me and Scribe were talking about this because I'm trying to understand where the logic comes from. Scribe, you want to?
Well, so in listening to Satsu give his recitation of this conversation, it came back to something I think we've talked about before, but just the seeming inability of some people to either admit they were being hyperbolic, misspoke, made a mistake, or even just were incorrect about something. That no matter what, they have to keep doubling down on an error,
mm-hmm.
or finding some convoluted logic to where their error wasn't actually an error, rather than just sort of conceding the fact that I screwed up. I made a mistake. Like I said, I overstated the case. I was hyperbolic. I was misinformed, whatever. Because somehow being or admitting to an error is like an admission of total and absolute failure as a human being or something, or giving up any ground in a quote unquote argument of very little import, lets the other guy win, who is obviously on the other side of your perspective, which makes them terrible as people, which means that anything you do gives them power, and we can't have that. So double down on your mistake to make sure they don't win, or claim a victory in your name or something. Like, at least, again, that's how I interpret it, because I don't understand any other logic, subconscious or otherwise, that causes people to constantly want to double down on an error or double down on some, grand sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Glittering generalization. That's what I was looking for, a glittering generalization. Because I've seen this. This is one of the things that actually got me spurred on to do a YouTube channel at the time, as I was having quote unquote conversations like this on Facebook, where someone would say something that was just completely outlandish and without any basis. And I would say, how did you get to that conclusion, given the fact that none of that was in what this person said? And then I get like a wall of text trying to get around the fact that they don't have a response, or that they said something in error. And this would just keep going on. And I keep asking the same like one sentence question. And it's like, yeah, but what you said doesn't make sense literally to what was. I guess I can understand, I can empathize with the position if you truly believe that giving up any ground is somehow a loss of virtue, or giving power to the bad guy or something. I don't agree with that logic, but I guess if I put myself in their shoes for a second, I sort of can. But admitting that you've made a mistake is not a failing as a human being. It's just admitting that you're human. And I have a lot more respect for people who like go just beyond the line. They get called out on and go like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I screwed up. I've done that more times than I can count. It's not fun to admit you made a mistake. It's not fun to have like proceeded under a misapprehension for a long time and then be called out on and be like, oh, an entire central pillar of my personal philosophy just got screwed over.
Yeah.
Well, do I forge ahead like an idiot, or do I change my perspective based on new information? Anyway.
Yeah. And to be clear, I don't think that was this person's intentions.
Sure. And I'm not. I'm speaking generally, not explicitly about this person. I don't know how to. Yeah.
And Monkey, real quick, do you have any quick thoughts on this?
Well, yeah. I mean, making a generalized statement like that, most of the time would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. Okay, that I wouldn't normally have a problem with that, except for how that conversation specifically went.
Exactly, because the point that I pointed out is I was like, you literally said before your statement, to be honest. So I'm like, with that type of setup, I'm just like, okay, well, it should be pretty safe for me to assume you meant what you said, even though my reason tells me that there's no way. But we just got done discussing the fact that there are people who seem to believe that there are absolutes involved when it comes to voting, where you're like, I vote for this person. I agree with literally everything they've ever said and done. So with that being the context of the conversation and the fact that you said, to be honest, this is my viewpoint, I took it for face value. And I agree that I could have assumed that you did not mean exactly what you said. Sure. But why should I have to?
Real quick, thank you, Angry
Illinois. Sorry.
Thank you, Angry Illinoisian. Live by the phrase "baby's daddy said," quote, "When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong," unquote. Yeah, it's not a crime to make a mistake. It's not a crime even to let your arrogance or your ego run away with you for a minute,
right,
and then pull it back when you calm down or whatever else. It's fine. It's not a sign of sin, and in the case of an argument, especially arguments that have no weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like and not talking about the specific thing with Satsu, but
right.
I'll talk about the one I had on Facebook. So the short version was somebody told a story about how a nurse that they were talking to at some checkup or something, they were chit-chatting, and there was a news story going on, and the nurse's perspective on it was uninformed, and the person in the being examined was like, no, what's going on is about this, and the nurse kind of just said, oh, well, and she kind of waved it off. And that was the entire story, but then this person swoops in and says, that just shows the inherent racism of da-da-da-da, and there was nothing implied or otherwise in the conversation relayed that could have even hinted that the nurse was somehow racist, right? And so I come in and I say, where do you get that this person was being racist? Because there's literally nothing in the text. You would, like I said before, you'd have to read between the lines of a cookbook to find her being racist somehow. And I got a wall of text. And no matter how many times I pointed to the undeniable fact that nothing had anything to do with race, said anything about race, even hinted at it, this person would not stop doubling down on their position, no matter what. Because somehow and I found, I got this throughout the course of the argument as they kept losing it, they kept attacking me then for asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was opposing the accusation, I was obviously coming to the defense of a racist.
Mm-hmm.
And to cede to me that they had made a mistake would be giving power to a racist that they had both conjured in their complaint and now in their opponent out of nothing. That's what it came down to. And it was, and so that little conversation, I hadn't really put it in those terms before at that point, because this is 2013, 14 or something. But that little exchange really helped to inform, or at least give me a clue as to what might be going on. I say might, because I'm not a mind reader, but what might be going on in a lot of these conflicts we've seen, where people just will not back down no matter what, even in the face of just, dude, you're wrong. If that is the mentality of even 10% of what we see, it just fascinates me. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like my issue with the whole thing is I'm like, what you're saying is not unreasonable. Like if I feel like that you have said something that you may not have said or something that I misunderstood, then sure, I should be able to just ask you to clarify. But I didn't ask you to clarify because I didn't assume anything. I read what you wrote and took it for face value. Like, that's not an assumption. I didn't assume that you meant everyone. You said everyone. So that's what I responded to. And that was like really my only holdup, because I'm like, you're saying that I assumed like I'm in the wrong. Like, maybe you shouldn't assume because maybe you'll be wrong. I'm like, I didn't assume anything. Yeah. I read your message and responded to it.
Thank you, Virgil. Real quick. Thank you, Virgil Grin. Oh, to view the world as but a struggle for power. Well, it is, because it's nothing but a power struggle. As we know, there are systemic systems of oppression. I could go on. Thank you, Sanguine. See the issue is that these sorts of people argue in such a way that they will always use the most uncharitable read of their opponent, but demand that they be read in absolutely absurdly charitable ways. That is also very common as well. Go ahead, Monkey.
Was this the same person throughout?
Yeah.
So the same one who said a vote?
No,
anyone else.
That was a different person. That was the person who actually responded to me, who said, who called me a Trump supporter out of nowhere. That was that person.
All right. I just wasn't sure.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, like I didn't disagree with the fact that I could have been charitable, and I could have been like, okay, I'm just going to decide for him that he didn't mean everyone. He just chose that word. I could have, but I'm like, no, that's not what was said. And you said to be honest beforehand, so I took it for what it was, or what I thought it was, at least. Now he did ask me the question: did I truly believe that he meant every human being on earth? And I can't say that I did. I can't say that I truly believe that he meant every living being on the planet. But regardless, you said what you said, and I responded to it.
Real quick, thank you, Non-Vitae Rex. If you dwell unhealthy, or maybe unhealthfully, on your mistakes, that tends to raise the stakes in even the smallest of conversations, debates, or arguments. Well, yeah, like I say, if you interpret a mistake as a total and absolute failing of yourself or your ideology or something else, and you just have no ability to not constantly defend this thing that you've decided is a very important part of your identity or something, it's much more difficult to admit an error if you think that somehow it's going to undercut a pillar of your worldview. Thank you again, Virgil Grin. Extra money for filling the world I couldn't fit. Thank you. Filling? Oh, sorry. Filling in the word I couldn't fit. Duh, my bad. I can't read right now, guys. I've been staring at the screen all day, so my eyes are getting kind of like bleh. My apologies, but thank you, Virgil.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that?
No, I just wanted to clarify, because like I said, I do understand what they were trying to say. Mm-hmm. Or what they were implying, that, and true enough, a lot of people who say that are saying it, they're over exaggerating, or they don't actually mean everyone. But I'm like, in this context, you are significantly more responsible for clarifying what you meant than I am for assuming that you didn't mean it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a little bit more of your responsibility than mine, especially if you're going to preface it with "to be honest." So that was just my thoughts on that. So
yeah, let's see. Sorry, I'm counseling Weibo real quick.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, well, with that, guys, we're at the bottom of the hour, and thus it's time for your time. If you have questions, comments, concerns, complaints, conspiracy theories, if you have examples of conversations you've had that were bizarre and one-sided, you've only got a very limited number of characters to put in to tell us about it. But go ahead. If you have questions for us, please put plenty of chat marks after those. If you have statements you'd like us to consider, please put plenty of statement marks after those. Somehow my eyes and my ability to speak will return to me at some point. Thank you, Attack Alpaca. Were you guys ever into the WWF back in the days of wrestlers like Ultimate Warrior, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, Junkyard Dog, Miss Elizabeth, Mouth of the South? You're into that stuff, weren't you, Monkey?
I was more into the NWA, but yeah, I paid some attention to them.
Yeah, I was not a huge, I was a little kid back in the 80s, but my sense of the WWF was always like the classic lineup, especially from the cartoon. I used to watch the WWF cartoon. That's where I found out about all the characters. Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior and all those guys. What was the guy with the parrot? I suddenly forget his name all of a sudden. What was
fuck.
his name? Yeah, I know, right? Somebody in the chat will get it to us in about 3 seconds, but I suddenly forget the guy with the parrot. Nico Filippone, tell Monk to check his DMs on Twitter after this show. Okay, Monkey, check your DMs on Twitter after the show.
Okay.
Ryan Rollins, Scribe, given the theory of an infinite universe and discounting entropy, would you like some toast? If it's sourdough, yes. Elva Carol 555, Lords, did you see that smokers in France were underrepresented in COVID hospitalizations? Monkey should like that.
Well, they have a theory for why, and yeah, they're telling us it was Coco Beware. Yes, indeed.
Oh, Coco Beware,
that's
what it was, yeah.
There's a theory for why smokers are actually not being hit as much as they thought at the beginning. It deals with ACE 2, so you can go look it up.
Thank you, Shigorath. A kangaroo walks into a bar. Barman says, "Wallaby." Womp, womp, womp. Yes, thank you, Angela Ariaga. Coco Beware, and your boy Pat, Coco Beware. No one nowhere, Coco Beware. Coco Beware. I remember, if you guys haven't seen the documentary Beyond the Mat, it's a entertaining and yet depressing look at the industry and behind it. It's a little dated now, but I think a lot of it still rings true.
Yeah, I was that a while back.
You seen that? Yeah, it's an amazing documentary. Man, Jake the Snake. Oh, that guy. He's had such a fucked up last few years. Let's see. Pirates Creed, are you excited to customize your junk in Cyberpunk 2077? Yeah, I read about that the other is it going to have an effect on gameplay, or is it just there for people to play dress up? And sure, half the part of making your character at the beginning is playing dress up to a certain extent, but unless it's going to, I'll probably just go for the normal. I don't need to make it like a dragon or anything. Ryan Rollins, did you miss that Red Dwarf reference? I obviously did. Is that Toaster at the beginning of season 1? Yeah, when he's talking to the Toaster. They didn't really. That character kind of came and went. He was there for a couple episodes, and then you never saw Toaster again, I think, unless there was some kind of cameo or something. Let's see. Mata Winter. Oh, Lords, would you all try a meter-long sausage between the three of you? Okay, no, that sounds like some Pornhub shit right there. I'm done.
I'm not eating a sausage with these men.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait. Share a sausage with 3 people? Yeah, that doesn't quite work. A side of pickled shrimp and a bowl of ranch dressing. I mean, depends on how pickled the shrimp is. I've had shrimp with it's been spiced before, putting a vinegar kind of thing, and that was all right. But I don't know, pickled shrimp. I don't know about pickled shrimp.
Dude, sharing a sausage with 3 dudes sounds like a pickup line to a blonde.
Yeah. Oh. Hi, Weibo. Oh wait.
Hey,
let's see. Sarak Limke. Does anyone remember the Legend of Sarmati, Siegfried, and Roy? No, I remember Siegfried and Roy, but was that a special of theirs? Because I remember watching the David Copperfield specials on like NBC back in the day. Those were always fun. Let's see. I remember. I think it was. What was it? I think it was a David Copperfield special where he was on a stage and he was playing on a big screen this old black and white film of Orson Welles, and it was an interactive thing because Orson Welles was talking to the camera as though he were a person, and he was going to do a card trick with, David Copperfield. And if I remember right, I don't know if it was dubbed or something, but either they dubbed in the name David for Orson Welles to say, or he filmed that thing back in whenever in the 50s or whatever, the 40s, for someone else named David, and they just happened to have the same name and they used it. I thought that was an interesting trick. I remember that one. Non-VTRX Lord, seen any good movies that aren't Hunt for Red October lately? Movies.
I haven't seen anything.
I've watched more series lately than movies. I mean, I just finished the season 4 of The Last Kingdom, which was pretty good. But movies-wise, no. You guys watch any movies lately? I'm looking now, but Satsu?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not any good movies.
TV series or like Netflix originals kind of things.
I didn't watch The Last Kingdom, but I did watch season 2 of Kingdom. And
you need to give give a few episodes of season 1 of the Last Kingdom a shot. Yeah, I think you'll like it. Weebo Jones. Oh Lords, what is your favorite white girl juicy juice? White girl juicy juice. That was easy.
White girls juicy juice.
Do white girls get their own juicy juice?
Well, I mean, if you get them in the right mood, yeah.
Oh, was this sexual innuendo?
I don't know. However you want to take it.
Wait, whose window? Oh, fuck. I'm just
Sexual in whose window? What? Let's see. Richard Art. Oh Lords, I require assistance. Oh well, we love giving assistance. I am hungry and can't leave my house, and eating rice every day sucks. So I need recommendations: pizza or Chinese food. I would go for Chinese food simply on the basis of a variety of flavors, whereas pizza's like one thing. So if you get like 2 or 3 small servings of different stuff, you've got some variety.
I don't know. I'm extra boozy right now, so it's bad to ask me about Chinese food.
I like Chinese food fine, but for me it'd be pizza just because I really, really like pizza.
Yeah. Also, it depends on your budget, because probably, I guess it depends. Pizza might be cheaper than Chinese food.
Well, now that I've started making it at home now, I'm just like, what? You eat that fucking shit that they bring you from the Chinese place down the street?
Oh, I tell you, he's got me. I haven't had Chinese food at this point in months now. So now I suddenly got a hankering. Maybe tomorrow I'll order some Chinese food. I think I've saved up a little bit for that. Let's see. Weebo Jones. Guys, did you know leather armor is the best to sneak around in because it's literally made of hide?
Ha!
Wow. Don't quit your day job there, Weebo, because Cryptic's
Stop sitting so close to Cryptic.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cryptic's already got you trumped. Stacey Gardner, Scribe, would it be wrong to tell the story of the tiger attack in reference to Siegfried and Roy? Would it be wrong? I mentioned it earlier. I couldn't remember which one of them actually got attacked by one of their tigers. So, yeah, but he didn't die of the tiger attack, so far as we know. He died of, they say, you don't die of coronavirus. You die of COVID-19. This is the thing that always gets me to say, like, I died of corona. You don't die of the virus. Either you have COVID-19 or you don't. You can have the virus and not die from it. It's not an automatic death sentence.
Watch it turn out he got attacked by his tiger again, and they're like, it could have been COVID.
Yeah, the tiger had COVID.
The tiger's name?
The tiger's name was COVID.
Oh. Let's see. Dom O'Leary, Lord's Night. Spam, bologna, or canned oysters. I mean, if they're smoked oysters, put those on Ritz crackers in your set.
I don't think I've ever had canned oysters before.
I've had smoked oysters. Smoked oysters are great.
I used to eat the sardines all
Bologna.
the time.
A monkey says bologna. Let's see. Check your logic. What deceased person would be surprised they became famous posthumously? Jesus.
I don't know if he'd be that shocked.
You think he wouldn't be shocked at how famous he became?
No. I mean, allegedly, that's why he was sent here.
Well,
His dad probably laid out the plan pretty thoroughly.
Otherwise, maybe H.P. Lovecraft. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of dead artists who, were nobodies, like a Van Gogh, that kind of thing, were like nobodies when they were alive and then they died and became really famous. Yeah, I'd say probably the first one comes to mind, H.P. Lovecraft. I seriously doubt, given his mood, his temperament, and his thoughts of himself, all things considered, that he wouldn't be shocked as to how his stuff has remained prevalent over the decades. Weebo Jones, it is a wine question. Yes, I know. Okay, what's the favorite white girl juicy juice? Well, so in college we called those bitch beers. And my favorite bitch beer was green apple Smirnoff Ice, because it tasted like an alcoholic apple Jolly Rancher, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, I like the Smirnoffs and the Mike's Hard and those stuff. I used to drink those all the time because, like I said, my first experience with alcohol in general was a horrible, terrible, terrible one. So just the smell of regular alcohol made me fucking sick to my stomach. So I wanted to get drunk. I just couldn't drink certain things. So that's how I got into bitch beers, as Scribe called.
You like that? Yeah, bitch beers. Yeah. Do you have a favorite bitch beer, Monkey?
No.
No. Okay.
Nothing that comes to mind.
Pyrus Creed says, "Can we get Squeetus and Grand Monkey on the stream at the same time tomorrow?"
By the time we do the stream, she's actually usually been in bed by an hour.
Yeah.
These days, so maybe.
And I don't even know, because unless you get them both on the stream with like headphones, I don't know if it quite works. I mean, having them talk to each other would be funny, but one doesn't really talk yet. So
please, yeah, you'll be talking to nobody.
Yeah,
yelling at everybody.
Delfruit Zero, gummy bears or gummy worms, Reese's Pieces or M&Ms? Ever had the Mars bar from Europe? The last one, no, I've never had a Mars bar from Europe. Gummy bears or gummy worms? Gummy bears. Reese's Pieces or M&Ms? Probably M&Ms. Opinions?
Bears, M&Ms. What was the other one? Mars bar. No, never had that.
European Mars bar. Satsu.
The same. There were all the answers you gave. I'm right there.
All right. Let's see. Weebo says, "Joke's on you. I don't have a day job anymore."
Yeah, unemployment.
There's plenty of street corners, Weebo. Wow. Oh, an American Celts, Scribe Satsu Inuyasha is getting a spin-off about Inuyasha and Sesshomaru's daughters.
Oh boy. Ooh, you butchered those.
I don't. I have no shame.
I know. Yes, Inuyasha is getting a remake. I mean, not a remake. It's getting a sequel, and I'm pumped about it because I liked that show back then, even though I felt the secondary love plot was just kind of pointless because it ultimately didn't go anywhere. But they got kids, so apparently it did. Also, I didn't read the manga or any of the light novels, so that shit could have continued afterwards. It was a good show, and it had a lot of bangers when it comes to openings and closings. Like, I woke up to that shit all through my childhood, so I'm all nostalgic and shit. So I'm excited. Hopefully they don't fuck it up. We'll see.
Let's see. Nothing free here. Scribe. This might be an interesting one. Can you make a robust feminist argument against abortion? A robust
killing a lot of women.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, effectively, 50% of the time you're enacting the power of the patriarchy. Right? Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you're denying Actually, no, I take it back. You by employing the methods of the patriarchy, you're denying the potential of both girls and boys to improve the world through feminist thinking. There you go. Off the cuff. Weeble Jones, Scribe, how dare you insinuate that I have daddy issues required to be a prostitute? Weebo, have you ever heard of a lemonade stand? You jump prostitute? Okay, well, I see where your mind is at. Whatever. I mean, just good God, prostitute.
Nice save there.
Wasn't a save. Totally. I'm being totally honest right now. Honestly.
To be honest,
Satsu, the fact that she decided to project a meaning onto what I said to the worst possible interpretation, that's her problem. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let's see. Weeble Jones, how do I watch the subbed next season of Seven Deadly Sins?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is. Elvacare, oh lords, how much shit would a dipshit dip if a dipshit could dip shit?
They would dip it all.
Yeah, exactly, all of it. Sean DW says no one would pay for Weebo as a prostitute. Well, yeah, they would.
Have you seen her?
Big time.
Look,
well, big time.
And he has a fuck ton of money, so she might still be in good shape.
Weebo says no one thought lemonade stand. I did, partially, afterwards.
I thought horror because you're pretty, and I thought you'd make a lot of money at it.
Now, Weebo, do you mean no one, or are you being?
Well, to be honest, Lords of the Night says Adam O'Leary, if your belly button could be activated, what would it do?
Make my penis instantly hard.
And all four.
And you'd have to push it, so it would never be awkward because it would only be on touch. Bing, it's ready.
Hopefully, turn off my depression.
Oh,
that's so pathetic. Plus,
see, it would deactivate my sense of hunger. Maybe, I don't know. Check your logic. Please don't tell me I've been mispronouncing posthumously for the little amount of time I've known about it. I don't know how you've been saying posthumously. Yeah, posthumously. I mean, it can go several different ways. You guys know what the word detritus is, right?
No.
Okay, so like if you were, it means like garbage or dirt or just like, like you roll around outside for a while, you come in and you're just covered in detritus, that kind of stuff. So I understood the word to be pronounced detritus. And I had an ex-girlfriend who called it detritus. And the first time, a couple times she said, I had no idea what she's like, what are you saying? So maybe that's just an English, I don't know.
I ought to say trash or dirt instead of.
Because it's fancy.
Oh.
It shows a extended vocabulary monkey.
Used to beat up kids like you in high school.
I know. That's why I am the way I am now. Thanks a lot. You're that type. I hang out with you to try to improve my sense of self. When I was a child, could hang with the cool kids.
You made it.
Anyway, let's see. Duffer Zero Scribe Light. Would the Pope be a voice? Sorry, a volcel, voluntary celibate. Yes, by, I think, godly decree. Although whether he is, and I'm talking about in the general sense of the Pope as the office and not necessarily an individual, is always a question. I don't necessarily think all popes were necessarily celibate behind closed doors.
Yeah, they do take a vow of celibacy and a vow of chastity, and
yeah, but
they're supposed to do those things.
Yeah, but rules are meant to be broken. Data Wasteland, or else why would there be Catholicism? Scribe, did you see the documentary preview Plandemic before it was scrubbed from the internet? If you do want to see it, I heard about that. I don't have any interest in watching it. I mean, I'll wait until the thing is over with before I watch a documentary about something that still isn't over with yet. Let's see. I mean, there will be more than a few conspiracy theory documentaries about the pandemic once it calms down. So,
Sure.
I mean, they didn't stop doing 9/11 conspiracy theory documentaries.
They're still doing them.
Still doing them, yeah. Weibo says, I'd make a better burlesque singer, to be honest. Well, video or didn't happen. Let's see.
Try both. Let's see.
Let's see. Elva Caro scribbles. I wasn't thinking lemonade stand. I was thinking panhandler. Need help. God bless. Oh, okay. See? Yeah. See, Weibo, you're wrong. You are wrong. You're just wrong. I thought I was talking about prostitution. How dare you? Truck and Bear. I don't know if you guys talked about it, but Kamala Harris made an insane proposal for another stimulus bill tagged in the hashtag if you all want to look. Did we talk about that yesterday?
I don't know if that was part of the bundle of stuff I talked about, so who knows?
Yes, Satsu brought up a whole bunch of offers on the table. I don't know if any of those were Kamala Harris's, but we could have been. Weibo, should I eat dessert? I don't know. Is it called Scribe Light?
Have dessert. It's always best.
Let's see. Thank you, Cryptic. Orange chicken, more like mandatory chicken.
What?
You mean like Mandarin-tory chicken? Or
that is orange tabby is what that is.
Mandatory. Okay, I'm obviously, that's gone way over my head.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, if there's a Mandarin in there somewhere, maybe I could get it. But Chekulash says Mandarin. Mandarin-tory? Mandarin. Yeah, I don't get it. Mono Winter, oh lords, Yeti yellow, ghastly gray, or beaver brown? Yeti yellow? Yetis are yellow? I thought they were like giant polar bear creature men things. They were basically all white furred. I don't even know what I'd be answering with that question. So, Weibo says, I have homemade tapioca pudding. So do I.
That's.
I mean, I could go
doctor, my friend.
She keeps opening the door to these things. I got nowhere else to go. Well,
Scribble.
It's got little plastic balls in it. You need to see a doctor.
Let's see. Donnelly Scribe, if I change my name to Weibo, would you answer more of my questions? Weibo's, she's like, I don't want to say that. That'd make it weird. Never mind. She's Weibo. What can I say? Jordan 250. Yeti yellow is the color of the snow in the Yeti's private court. Ew. Grody.
Is that where you get the snow cone from?
Ew. Gross. Red Dirt Runner. Lords of the Night. Do you love us as much as you love Weibo? Yes.
We have 40 Weibo clones in here tomorrow.
I know, yeah. Everybody's going to be Weibo Jones. Just wait. Everybody's going to change their handles to variants on Weibo Jones, like Gulf City Weibo Jones or something.
Remember, don't do that tomorrow because I ignore the audience no matter who's talking.
No one nowhere presses X to doubt. You would doubt me? Weibo Jones says, you can't replace me. We had Kate Kennedy on here the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, she's a hot, short, blonde lady, so sure.
She's no Weibo.
Then that is true. That is true.
But
she says I'm the alpha Weibo. You're something, all right. Data Wasteland Scribbles. Just so you know, that last comment of mine was unviewable here in the comments until I creatively spelled things different. What are your thoughts about that? Oh, that YouTube or Google or whatever censors chat comments. Yeah, no. I wish I had a control that would tell them, let people post what they're going to post, but I don't have that power, except for the fact that I have the power to filter out certain words, but I don't use it. But apparently, Google does it for me without me knowing it. So I don't like it. I don't like censorship that I don't have any control over, especially when it's my channel, but c'est la vie.
Scribe, you don't know what you want. That's why YouTube decides for you.
I know. Dom O'Leary. Lords of the Night. If you could remove a character from a 70s, 80s sitcom to make it better, who and why? Remove a character from a sitcom to make it better.
Any child under the age of 5 from any of them.
Oh, well, then, hell, Full House would be not a Full House.
I wasn't a fan.
No. Remove
I
a
don't know
character.
how old. I'm sorry. I don't know how old Arnold was, so I'm not real sure. But 7 from that one season of Married with Children, where they had him in for half a season.
Yeah. That was dumb. Well, I mean, could a cartoon be considered a sitcom?
Not really, but you can use it anyway.
Yeah, Scrappy Doo.
Oh, Scrappy Doo was horrible.
Fuck Scrappy Doo. Take Scrappy Doo completely out of the equation. Hell with that. 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo without Scrappy Doo. Vincent Price, yes, or Vincent Van Gogh, yes, but no Scrappy. Hell with Scrappy.
Wasn't the original Scooby Doo episodes framed like a sitcom?
I mean, it had a laugh track and everything, but that was just sort of par for the course at that point, like with the Flintstones and everything. It's this weird tradition. So yeah, it was kind of supposed to be like it was a situation comedy after a fashion. So sure, yeah. So like I say, 70s and 80s is a cartoon, a sitcom. I mean, the Simpsons would be considered a sitcom, so why not? Let's see. Motto Winter. Oh Lords, is Monk still asleep? I'm sure part of him is.
No. I'm being attentive. How dare you?
Weebo Jones, I want ice cream. Well, go out and get ice cream. What do you want from me?
You a grown ass
job so you can get ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, you've been sitting there doing whatever you're doing. Just go eat ice cream. Have some delivery or something. You got a job, right?
Some of your white privilege. I'm sure you can get all the ice cream you want.
Right. Yeah, just bat your eyelashes at some guy. He'll probably go get you ice cream. Let's see. Delfruit Zero. What about Wesley Crusher being removed? Well, you said like 5. And Scrappy Doo in dog years might have been more than 5, but in people years he was less than 5. So Wesley Crusher was not 5 or younger. Let's see. Actually, well, I mean that was Monkey's rule. He was just any character, but I mean Star Trek wasn't a sitcom. So Satsu, have you seen Galactic Heroes? Says Red Dirt Runner.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Weeble Jones says, I can't, I'm in quarantine. Well, then have it delivered, or like I say, bat your eyelashes to get some drone to go get it for you.
Lady Monkey made me a nice shake tonight. It was
Although
wonderful.
Be careful, because I have heard that ice cream men doing their rounds is a crime. You see that story about they called 911 on an ice cream truck coming around the neighborhood?
Oh no!
Yep.
Yeah, ice cream truck guy is going around and do, and somebody called 911 because he's violating the lockdown order and etc.
No. There's actually this is in a very upscale neighborhood in Chicago, and the supervisor of that area said, if you see them, call the police.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Let's see. Non-Vitae Rex, thoughts on Disney rebooting Pirates with female lead? Well, if it ends up being Karen Gillan, like I said on Twitter the other day, if they want to dress up Karen Gillan in a pirate outfit and have her half drunk all the time and sousing around, I mean, I stopped being interested in the franchise after the second movie, but I wouldn't mind there being footage of that happening. But I don't care. Like, Disney's going to do what Disney's going to do. So, and Karen Gillan's a fun actress. I mean, you know, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it could be interesting as long as they don't sell it off of that premise.
Right.
I think it'll be fine.
I mean, if they play up the fact that, like, well, you liked her as Nebula, you liked her in Jumanji, so now we're giving her an upgrade to pirate. Like, and who doesn't love a hot girl pirate, really? Let's see. Red Dirt Runner. Everyone, this is Scribe telling all you simps to go get Weeb's ice cream. Okay, well, now there's reading between the lines, and there's really reading between the lines.
So Weaves has the mediocre puss, huh?
Oh, now that's reading between the lines.
I'm sorry for her boyfriend. Spit on it. Maybe it'll feel better.
Wow. Man, I thought my corner joke was bad. Delford Zero Scribelight, I'll change my question then. Should Wesley have been removed from TNG? Should he have been? I think the character would have worked better if they had, well, gotten a better actor at the time. But I mean, he was a kid, so what are you going to do? I mean, it was an interesting dynamic to see Picard have to deal with sort of being a fatherly figure when he hates children, right? And he can't sort of avoid it because this is Crusher's son, and he had a thing for Crusher or whatever. So, I mean, there's always the suspicion that maybe he was actually Picard's son for a long time. I don't know if that conspiracy theory ever died, but yeah, I don't know. I give that show a whole lot of leeway because it was 80s Star Trek, and we're not talking like high art, except for the fact you had Shakespearean actors playing parts and things. So. But with that, guys, sort of rambling answer, we're at the top of the hour, and thus the end of the show. Faithless says 90s. No. Star Trek Next Generation premiered in what, 87, 88? It was an 80s Star Trek. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming out to join us today. Really appreciate it, as you always do, and you always are the best audience in the world, except for Weebo Jones. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our audience is the most well-behaved in the world, except for Weebo Jones. And everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it, especially in these strange times that we live in. I might use it to go buy some ice cream.
Except for Weebo Jones.
Well, not for Weebo Jones, at least. Remember, guys, after this over on 2 Cents Plus, you can watch Monkey and Satsu play, I think, Fallout 76.
Yes.
Fallout 76. Tomorrow we'll be on Monkey's channel at the regular time for Lords of the Night. Also, look for me at around 11:30 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, when I'll be doing a TED Excellence episode, which should be interesting, as they all are, of course. Also, check out the video I just posted to my channel, the one you're already on, listening to this, because I made it today. You might like it. But with that, anything else to mention before we go, guys?
I had something except for Weebo Jones.
Oh, well then. Monkey, Satsu, thank you for joining me as always.
Yeah, whatever.
Everyone, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Fuck off, you motherfucker.
Bye, guys.
And per tradition, get out my copy of Screw the Roses, Send Me the Thorns, the romance and sexual sorcery of sadomasochism. And today's secret word is oddly. O-D-D-L-Y, oddly.
Uh-huh.
Weebo Jones is oddly.